Hi, I'm Laura, and this is Lalo Wellness. Today's video is going to focus on hip openers. I do these videos periodically because, frankly, I have tight hips, and I know that a lot of us do because we spend so much time sitting, driving, working at our computers, working on our desks, sitting on our couch. And so our hips just kind of don't get the kind of movement that they really need. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Let's get started. We're actually going to start today's class on our back. You can use a bolster. I'm just going to use a rolled up yoga mat and put it sort of down the back of my spine to give me a little bit of support, a little bit of extra opening for my chest. So I want to slide whatever supportive device I'm going to be using right up to my butt. It could be an extra mat, it could be a rolled up towel or blanket or a bolster, whatever you have that's going to work for you. Once you're there, you're going to let your hands come to each side and just roll yourself back on top of that support. Adjust as you need to. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and just allow the knees to open. If this feels really uncomfortable and awfully tight for your legs, you can always take a couple of blocks and give those legs a little bit of extra support. So feel free to bring blocks into play. You can bring them up onto their sides, up to their tall sides. We all have varying degrees of where our hips are at with flexibility. So just find what works for you. I've got the soles of the feet together. You can move them a little further away from your body, bring them in a little closer, whatever feels best. Hands wherever you like, maybe on your belly, maybe on the ground, maybe the palms are up. You decide where you want to be. You can have your eyes open or closed as we just spend a moment sort of dropping into the body, noticing how we're feeling, putting a little extra attention into those hips and seeing how they're feeling today. Do they feel loose? Do they feel tight? We just want to notice and observe where we're at. We start to focus in on our breath. Every time we breathe in, imagine bringing some of that air right into those hips and creating a little bit of space wherever the tightness might be living. And then as you exhale, see if you can allow the hips to open just a little bit more and soften into that move. So inhale, bringing in some space. Exhale, softening into that space. Take a few more breaths here. Take a moment to check in with your mindset today. Seeing if your mind is ready. Maybe your mind is elsewhere. See if you can bring some focus in with every breath. Let's take one more breath here. On your next inhale, bring your hands to the outside of your thighs and just help those legs come up. If you have blocks, you might want to move them out of your way. We're going to bring the knees right into the chest. Put your hands on top of those knees. And we're going to begin to tuck the chin. Take your gaze towards your knees and start to rock yourself up. Maybe it takes a couple of rocks. A little momentum to help you get up there. If you have that bolster or mat or whatever you have at your back, just move it out of the way and come back into those open knees. Again, maybe you're using your blocks here. Maybe you're using your blocks here. Maybe you're setting them aside. We're coming into this bound angled position. So maybe you can reach for the toes. Think about keeping the length here in the spine that you had even when you were lying down, and see if you can maintain that as you're in a seated position. Everybody's mobility in the hips and flexibility in the muscles surrounding the hips is a little bit different. Maybe you can pull yourself much, much closer to the feet. Maybe you feel like you're barely moving at all. That's okay. In yoga, we're always a work in progress. We're always working towards something. So that's just fine. Go where you are right now, today. Take a couple more breaths here. And then start to release. You can round through your spine a little bit. Bring your hands behind those legs once again. Lift the knees up. We're going to take the feet out a little bit wide and then push yourself off on top of those feet. Coming into a high squat to begin. Rest your forearms on top of your thighs. Let's turn the toes out just a little bit. And you can stay right here in this high squat. Let your butt sink a little bit more if you can, or you can take it all the way down into a malasana squat, maybe bringing your hands out front for extra balance, lifting your hands to the opposite elbows to challenge your balance. And if your hips feel like they're ready for it, maybe your hands come into prayer to help push the knees a little bit more open. You can also be sitting on top of a block to give you a little bit of support here while you focus on widening those hips just a little bit more. On your next inhale, lean forward into your toes just a little bit here. And we're going to place our hands on the inside of the right foot and step back in our left foot. Notice the right toes are still angled out to the side, so about a 45-degree angle. We want to bring these elbows hands right underneath the shoulders. Now let that right knee drop out just a little bit to the side so that you're resting on the outer edge of your right foot. You can have your left leg extended like this, or maybe drop down onto the knee. You can take this wherever you'd like to go. Maybe you stay here up on your hands. Maybe you come down onto your forearms. Pay attention to what your body needs right now. Maybe you're thinking, my hip's not quite ready for that, and that's okay. We're going to walk this left hand just a little bit closer to the right foot. Sweep that right hand up nice and high to come into a revolved lizard. Again, options, maybe you're nice and long in that back leg, or maybe you're resting down with the knee on the ground. Take one more breath here. Reach a little bit higher and see if you can open the chest. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to drop this right hand to the inside of your right thigh and just gently press. We don't want to force anything here. We just want to see if we can encourage a little more opening. And one final option, maybe you pick up that back foot, you reach around for it. That's up to you where you'd like to go today. One more breath in. Exhale, face front, flatten out your foot. Let's frame up that front foot. We're just going to heel toe it till it's in the middle of our mat. We're in a low lunge. Tuck your toes under and come into a runner's lunge. This is one of my favorite spots to use my blocks because I like to get those hips as open as I can. So giving my arms a little more length with my blocks really lets me open up that left hip. Think about having a nice long line from the crown of the head all the way down to that back heel, and we're keeping the right knee behind the toes. Let's lift up just a little bit higher and then reach the arms back to come into an airplane lunge. Notice the arms are a bit higher than your back. Deep breath in, exhale, scoop your left hips under, reach the hands high like you've got a nice big beach ball here in your hands, and lift the chest nice and tall, gazing straight ahead. Inhale, reach through those fingers. Exhale, Cactus the arms, dip the back knee. Inhale and reach. Let's take 2 more of those. Inhale and reach. Exhale, find that airplane lunge once again. A little bit of a squeeze between your shoulder blades. Lean into that front foot and take a small step forward. Pivot your back foot to a 45 and set your heel down. Keep that right knee bent. Inhale, sweep the arms up high. Warrior 1. Options here, maybe keep that beach ball between the hands or find an arrow mudra. Lift the chest a bit higher. Deep breath in, reach the hands high, turn all the way to the side of your mat. Toes out, heels in, 5-pointed star. Inhale, reach. Exhale, prayer squat. Scooping those hips under, pushing the knees wider and keeping the chest tall. Inhale and reach. Exhale, find that prayer squat. We're going to pause it right here and take one hand above, one hand below, so the palms are facing each other, and turn the moon. Sweep it around, turn that big old moon. Start to bring your ribs along with you and really work through your core. One more. Inhale, reaching both hands high, 5-pointed star. Exhale, windmill the arms down, pick up your back foot, face the top of your mat and come into your runner's lunge. We're going to take a big step back on that right foot, come into a plank just for a moment, lengthen out the neck, and step your left foot out to the side, turning the toes out at that 45. Maybe you keep your blocks, maybe you move them aside. Let your left knee fall out, resting on the outer blade of your left foot. Maybe you're on the knee. Find your sweet spot that lets you breathe that space into the hip and soften a little bit more into the hip opener. Move the right hand a bit closer. Inhale, sweep the left hand high, reaching toward the sky. Really think about pulling that left shoulder toward the ceiling to open the chest. On your next exhale, drop the hand down to the inside of the thigh. Gentle pressure on that inner thigh. Your gaze might still be up to the ceiling, maybe it's straight ahead. It may even be down to your right hand down on the floor. Option, if you want it, is to pop that back foot up and reach for it. Your decision where you want to go with that today. I'm going to leave that one out today. One more breath here. Taking my gaze to the top of the mat, heel toe my foot to the center. Frame up my foot, low lunge, tuck the toes, come back to my runner's lunge. Blocks or no, your decision. Left knee behind the toes. Letting gravity help open up that hip. Find your breath. Long, long line through the spine. So lift up just a little bit through the chest, reach those hands back, coming into your airplane lunge. Inhale, create that space. Exhale, soften into it. Next inhale, we're going to scoop the right hip, reach the hands high, find your crescent lunge. Make sure that back heel stays off the ground here. Lift the chest tall. Reach, reach, reach through those fingers. Exhale, dip, and cactus the arms. Inhale and reach. Exhale and dip. Inhale and reach. Exhale and dip. Inhale and reach. This exhale, we come back to the airplane lunge. Arms a little higher than your back. Half step in, pivot to a 45 on that back foot and set your heel down. Scoop the hips, reach high. Warrior one. with your beach ball, with your arrow mudra, your choice. Find your breath once again. Breathe your way through. Inhale, reach both hands high. Coming into that 5-pointed star. Inhale and reach. Exhale, slide your back down that imaginary wall. Inhale and reach. One more time. Pause here. One hand on top, one hand on bottom. Turn that moon. Add the rib cage into it. Really pressing the knees open here. Let's give one more turn. Inhale up to your 5-pointed star. Exhale, windmill those arms down, taking all 10 toes toward the top of the mat. Come back to your runner's lunge. And step both feet forward, or one foot forward, I guess, so both feet are together. Take a deep breath, sweep all the way out and up. Exhale. Come all the way back down to the floor. Step back with your right foot, knee under hip. Then we step back with the left foot and take a nice big deep breath here on the knees. Exhale, sweeping your hands over to the right and your feet over to the left. Come all the way down to our seat. Just bring your hands alongside the body now. Slowly rolling it down, one vertebra at a time. And if it feels okay, bring the soles of the feet together again. Let the knees fall out to the side while we open the hands to the ceiling and take a body scan, see how we're doing. We start at the top of the head. Let ourselves start to relax into it. Softening across the forehead and behind the eyes, around the eyes. All those little muscles around the jaw. Letting yourself relax through the neck. Right out into the shoulders, elbows, and your fingertips. Come into your breath, slowing it down. Inhale, creating that space, sending it right into your hip joints. Exhale, softening a little more into it, releasing a little more if you can. And let that release go all the way through each leg, through the knees, the ankles, right down to your toes. Give yourself 5 deep breaths here. Let's begin to bring a little bit of awareness to the fingers and toes. Unless you have more time to spend in Shavasana, then go for it. If those knees are wide, use your hands once again to help yourself bring the knees up. And we gradually make our way to a seated position. Letting the chin drop, lengthening out the spine. Let's take your left ear to the left shoulder. Sliding your chin across the chest, right ear to right shoulder. And bringing your chin to your chest, gradually opening your eyes. Let's take one more deep breath together, out and up. Bringing those hands into heart center. May you have peace in your thoughts, kindness in your words, and hope in your hearts. From my heart to yours, namaste. I hope you found today's practice to be helpful. I know I have really tight hips. I always have, and so I work on this a lot, and I feel like a lot of people feel kind of the same way, again, due to all the amount of time that we spend sitting. So if this was helpful for you, please make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share it with somebody else that might be able to benefit from it. And if you would like some more wellness tips, please feel free to visit me at laylowellness.com.